So without further ado, Diane, if you want to come and join us, we're so grateful to see you here. And again, welcome Diane Medley. Diane is a social worker in the school system for Discovery Charter School, which is a wonderful, unique group of people. And Diane's been doing this for 12 years, so hats off to you, Diane, because that is not an easy job being a school social worker, and especially during this time. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here. And maybe, before we begin about what is Discovery School and help for parents during the pandemic and stress with children, maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in social work.
Sure. Well, I grew up in the region here.
Okay.
I graduated from Maryville High School. I always enjoyed working with kids, and I did a little bit of work in daycares, and I got into I volunteered to be a CASA in Lake County, probably when I was a teenager, maybe 19, 20.
Nice.
And so then I decided that I wanted to go to school, and I got my bachelor's in sociology from Purdue Cal.
Yay.
And then started having kids, and then I decided that I wanted to pursue and get my master's in social work. So I went to IUN and graduated in 2010. So in between, my bachelor's and my master's, I did some work with regional mental health in Lake County.
Sure.
I was a home case manager, and then I also did some work with Head Start, and then once I got my master's, that kind of led me to finding a job in school social worker.
Oh my gosh! So
Yeah.
you have wonderful experience. Really, seriously. I mean, all those things you just mentioned, Diane. First of all, and then to go back to school with children.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Good hats off to you again, because that is really a lot to do. But with your experience, I'm sure that is so helpful to you at Discovery.
Yes. Definitely. I've been there for 12 years now since they opened, and yes, we service K through 8. Okay. So I feel like some of my experience from the past working with littles has helped me, and kind of carrying that over to our teenagers who are in 8th grade.
Right. And just again, we talked about briefly before we started, Diane, for parents who don't know, at Discovery or any other school, there are social workers and counselors. And tell us about what parents should know about why they might call you or contact you.
Sure. So in different schools, we're kind of referred to as different types of people. So there might be a school social worker, a homeschool advisor, maybe a school counselor, or a guidance counselor. So I feel like every school has a specific name for this type of helper position. Parents reach out to me for if their kids are struggling at home, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe there's a new baby coming, and there's adjustments going on. I've had families reach out because their families, maybe somebody's going into the military and they're going to be deployed, so then having to support their students as they come back into school and try to work through all that. Parents contact me on mental health, anxiety, depression. Lots of different topics.
Yeah. And how, oh my gosh, you just bring this all back to me. And how important, Diane, when they reach out to you, for you to be able to give them thoughts and information about whatever topic they're struggling with. For instance, I mean, when you talk about diagnosing, if you would, or getting help to diagnose maybe a developmental delay of some sort, that can be life-changing, that you have the ability to help them see that maybe what their child is struggling with can get some help for it, whether it's attention deficit or learning or dyslexia or anxiety, depression.
Yes. So I try to do my best as far as referring them out to people in the community that can help them.
Yeah.
If they have a specific need, I have no problem going and trying to find that. As far as some of those other diagnoses like ADHD or dyslexia, coming back to our school team and talking to our school team and figuring out how we can support that student, whether they need a 504 or whether they need an IEP.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of helping that parent navigate
the system, which
yeah.
is so complicated. But the fact that you have the ability to help the parent, I just know one thing for sure is when teachers know that a child is struggling with XYZ, without, giving, blasting all over the school that a family is struggling with something and being very confidential. But when a student's teachers know that a child is dealing with something, it helps them help the child.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I always, if parents come to me and talk to me about a specific issue that is going on with their child, I always ask permission. Like, can I share this with your teacher? Because this might be something that they want to keep an eye on. They spend most of their time with the child in the classroom.
Right.
I think it's important, without giving too many details, but just letting the teacher know this is what's going on and just be watchful.
Right, right. And Diane, what would you tell parents maybe listening that are fearful of contacting you or any school counselor and talking for fear of, confidentiality being broken? Or why do parents not reach out for help when they're...
I'm not sure why parents may not reach out. I mean, I guess maybe they might be fearful, especially when they hear the word social worker. They might...
It puts different ideas in their head.
different ideas in their heads. Oh, if I contact them, they're going to, call CPS. Or the stigma of, I don't want to share that our family has a problem. So I can see those type of barriers to wanting to reach out.
Right.
I would say, and I just want to mention that, my girls, of course, went through Discovery for, I don't know, 5 years. And I think, just by you and the administration and the teachers on how close you are and how you really do have a vested interest in the children, and that how important it is to parents to understand that you are a resource. So any person that's listening, that they can reach out to their school counselor or their principal to share this, because they are spending that amount of time with their student child more than they are. So to help keep an eye on those things, to help keep that child moving in the right direction.
Yes. And I would say specifically to Discovery, and I'm not sure about other schools, but we embrace our families, and our kids are like our own kids. So we do try to help them as best we can, as if they were our own child. So. We do appreciate them reaching out, and we try to do everything we can to help them academically and emotionally.
Yeah. Right. So a very loving, caring climate, which is so important to any child's development. And, selfishly as a parent, that makes you feel so good. And not that our worlds are perfect, and any school setting is complicated, but you have a good chance of someone noticing if your child's having a problem, then can get your help, Diane.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Another topic we talked about is this crazy pandemic and the unique stresses. I think a lot of us think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, we're navigating through it, but what do you see particularly with children that maybe parents would be important to think about and maybe get help for their child if they're struggling with a pandemic-related stress? So
some of the things that I am seeing, and I kind of blame it on the pandemic, is some anxiety. A lot of kids coming back who maybe didn't have anxiety problems before the pandemic, they are coming back to school with some of that anxiety. And so what I'm seeing a lot of is separation anxiety. They've been home with their families. They've been maybe close with, usually mom or dad. And so now they have to kind of separate and come back to school every day in person. And it's a real adjustment for them. So I do have a lot of families who are kind of struggling, and students who are struggling with that separation anxiety. And kindergarten is pretty pretty normal,
Yeah,
you know,
sure. Yes, yeah.
for kindergartners to have some separation anxiety, and they kind of work through it. But when we start seeing problems in second, third, fourth grade,
Yeah.
you know, that's a little bit
Unique. Yeah.
a little bit unique. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you tell a parent or a child? I mean, they're just like, I get a lump in my throat thinking of that, because it was hard for me to leave home and go to school.
Yeah.
Even when I was a senior in college.
No, yeah.
No, I'm serious.
No,
like,
me-
I
yeah,
get a
me
lot
too.
of
Yeah.
separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So how do you help the parent help the child with that?
So we talk about, you know, maintaining a routine and structure. We talk about reassuring their child that they are, you know, that they're okay.
Yeah.
I really try to enforce as well that, you know, your parent's going to be back to pick you up, and we try to just break down the day to try to help them
There you
work
go.
through that. We, especially if it's anxiety around COVID, you know, we try to limit media exposure. You know, like, let's,
Interesting.
you know, like,
you
try
don't
not
need
to
to
watch
hear
the
about it.
news.
Yes.
And just like I said,
That's a good one.
so another one is, you know, coping. You know, kids need models for coping strategies so that they know what to do when they are in these anxious states.
Right.
And so, you know, working with parents on, you know, modeling breathing, exercising, you know, identifying their emotions and saying, you know, I'm feeling a little anxious. I think I'm going to go take a break, or I'm going to go listen to some music right now.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of modeling those coping strategies for their child so that their child knows what to do when they are feeling this way.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, I
So
know.
to recognize, like, verbally with your child that I, as a parent, I'm feeling very anxious today. I'm going to go take a nap, or I'm going to go exercise, or eat right. I mean, our diet has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
I remember as a high school counselor having a student who was having a lot of anxiety, and I asked what she ate and drank. Well, she had a Coke in the morning, and before she left home, she had a Coke when she got. I mean, it's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So simple little things that we don't think about, or sleep habits and exercise and
Yes.
Yeah.
Fresh air and
Yeah.
just going for a walk and
Yeah, and so we've seen a lot of, you know, a lot of those anxiety symptoms kind of turns to somatic symptoms. So, you know, kids are complaining of headaches and stomach aches. And so those are some of the questions that we ask, you know, like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you know, how much did you sleep last night? And
Right.
what did you eat? What did you drink this morning? You know, did you have
Right.
breakfast? You know, we have to try to rule out all those other
Sure.
Yeah.
things in order to see, like, is this something that they're actually, you know, not feeling well, or is this related to anxiety?
right.
So, you know, the school nurse and I do a lot of work together
Yeah.
to try to help figure out, you know, what is the issue here, and how are we going to address it.
Right. Oh,
Wow.
that's great.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting, again, and maybe this is old-fashioned, but taking the time, Diane, that the school employs you and the school nurse and anyone else who helps you out, all the different people, I'm sure, administration, other teachers, secretaries, to take the time to talk to a parent or a child.
Mhm.
You know, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
We
we
don't
just expect them to just kind of be a little like robot through the day, and
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
not, they're little people who have feelings. You
Yeah,
know, so,
they are.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I always tell the kids I work with, you know, just ask your teacher if you can come down, and
Yeah.
teachers are really great about sending the kids down. Yeah, because they do need to talk about their feelings, or, you know, problems that they're having either in the classroom or at home. You know, yeah, they have as many feelings as adults have.
Sure.
And sometimes they don't know how to
Right.
understand it, navigate it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you're so comfortable to listen to. I could just sit and chat with you.
yeah.
No, but that, you know, that means a lot.
Mhm.
The comfort level
Yeah.
for the children and the parents and the staff. I bet you just serve a wonderful purpose there, Diane. That is so nice.
Yeah, thank you.
And you talked a little bit about resources in the community.
Mhm.
Let's say I come to you and my child is struggling. You know, 8th grade, I mean, my goodness, they can have some serious adult-like issues. Let's say I have a child who's depressed,
Mhm.
like, and really depressed. Like, I'm thinking almost suicidal. What would, you know, resources, how do you handle that in the community?
So, you know, obviously I would talk with the child and talk with the family. I might, my first referral might be to the pediatrician.
Uh-huh.
You know, talk to your doctor
Yeah.
about these things. I do offer some informal assessments,
Okay.
and some suicide risk assessments. So, you know, if a child were to tell me that they were having suicidal ideation or they were thinking about suicide, then I would complete this assessment.
Yeah.
And then based on the assessment, you know, contact the family and, you know, refer them out. So if somebody was a true danger to themselves, then, you know, I might be referring them to Porter Stark or to regional mental health or to some type of community mental health facility to get a further risk assessment completed.
Right. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think parents want help. Oftentimes, maybe they're embarrassed or scared or the unknown, but education will help them make a decision, and it's always ultimately up to the parents. So this is just resource information that can help you as a parent. So again, that's wonderful. Bravo to you, Diane. Is there anything else, Lisa? Do you have any questions or thoughts? Or Diane, anything else you think it would be important for parents to know? You know, again, the holidays are coming up around the corner. We had a staff meeting. We talked a little bit about that. And maybe that's my own issue, but I love the holidays, but they can be stressful.
Sure. And, you know, another thing I feel that some of the families are dealing with as a result of COVID is, you know, grief. Maybe they've lost family members. Maybe they haven't been able to see grandparents. And so bringing that up around the holidays is, you know, sometimes, you know, the anniversaries of those passings or, you know, trying to make it through the holidays without certain family members does cause some stress and maybe some depression or just some sadness, not only for the student, but for the whole family as well. So again, I think it's important that, you know, they try to stick to their routines, their traditions, try to make as many connections as they can, as safely as they can during this time. And if they had any questions that they could always reach out to, you know, their school counselor or their school advisor or social worker.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying. It is just the awareness of your feelings and thoughts about the impending, you know, whether it's the pandemic, grief around pandemic, or the impending holidays, you know. I think it's so reassuring when someone like yourself, if I come to you as a parent and say, you know, my son Johnny is, you know, struggling, and you say, well, you know, how are you doing as a family? Oh, well, not so good, you know. I mean, it's so nice to be able to go to someone like you, Diane, just to acknowledge that we are having struggles.
And that we're all in this together, you know, and we all have different struggles on different days. And, you know, what my struggles are may not be what Jean Ann's are or your struggles, but yet we all need to help. We all need help navigating, and as our families need help navigating, so do, you know, the kids, and you know, and they pretty much are adaptable to things. However, they still have their feelings, and they still need to. But you guys do a phenomenal job over there at Discovery. What a great community of people, and supporting our public education program, and you know, just making sure people are aware of our services, which we are thankful for.
Well, that's great. So Diane, is there anything else you'd like to say, or
just want to reiterate that if you feel like your child is struggling, don't be afraid to reach out. You know, if you want to start with your pediatrician, or if you want to reach out to your school advisor, school social worker, please reach out. Don't be afraid. There's help. And so, we all want to do what we can, especially in the school community and our mental health community. We want to support families. We want to support kids. So we are always trying to do the best we can to do what's best for kids.
Yeah. And we know it doesn't come with a manual.
So there
is no manual. Yep. So it's just everybody, and somebody might have already walked in those shoes that can be there for your support. So.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really great point, is that, as a therapist, I've had clients come in and not had a good experience with any one counselor out in the world, and know, just like when you go to a doctor or a lawyer or anyone else, that may not be a good fit, but don't let that sour you, if you would, or label going to a therapist or a school counselor or a social worker. It could be a bad thing. You need to keep looking.
Yeah.
To
And
make
sometimes
it-
that person is the confidant that you need to be talking to. You know, your friends may not understand, or your
Right.
spouse, or
Yes.
your, you know.
Wow, that's a great
sometimes,
point,
you know,
Lisa.
just finding somebody outside of
Yeah.
your realm that can
Yes.
just hear what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
can help you as an individual say, I'm okay, but I might need to have a little
Yeah.
redirection, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Well, Diane, a million thank yous.
Yes,
for
thank
being
you so
here.
much for
I hope
coming.
we've helped someone who's listened and
Yes.
that they take the opportunity, if you would, to reach out to you if their children go to Discovery, or the idea of reaching out to any counselor, school counselor, or therapist outside in the world. And Lisa, thank you for your insight. And Discovery is a wonderful place.
Yeah.
That is
If you
for
want to
sure.
learn more, check it out on their
Yeah.
website.
Your website,
Go
is it
there for a visit,
discovery.com?
yeah.
Discovery, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
I'm not even sure what
Yeah, right. I work there. It's like
what it is.
I don't even know my address.
I
but
just,
that's it.
you know,
Yeah.
I just click on an icon and
It's
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there, right off in Porter there, right
Yes.
by the
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Lakeshore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
so-
are definitely right in the woods.
Yeah.
We're
How
very
fun.
environmental friendly, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are all hands
It's
on.
like a little retreat.
Yeah,
It
it
is,
is.
yeah,
Nice.
a really special place.
Yeah.
And
it
you're a
is.
special person.
Thank you.
Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you again for having me. I really appreciate
Well,
it.
you're
Yeah, absolutely,
you're welcome.
anytime.
It's just
Yeah.
so important that, especially in this day and age, you know, pandemic or no pandemic, it's been a little crazy.
Yeah.
And for people to acknowledge that it might be a little bit wearing on them, a little heavy on their shoulders, and that there are some answers out there and support and help, and not perfect, but definitely to take the time to reach out. So
Yes.
thank you for your
Yep,
message.
thank you.
All right.
So, all
So
right.
take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions about Discovery, or particularly to Diane, just call Diane Medley at the Discovery School. And Lisa and I and Megan behind the scenes, thank you, Megan. We're here at Dunebrook. If you're a parent, expecting parent, or a parent with a child, and you could use some help, as Lisa said, sometimes our own families are great, but going outside our families for additional information can be very helpful. So we wish you all the best. We'll end today by saying be kind to yourself. Acknowledge that you might be struggling with some things, and be kind to others out in the big world. A little patience can go a long way. So have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.